And we are live based on the little thing over there. Gone are the days when I would wonder if I was live and not get the microphones right. Someone said, like, oh, you seem so comfortable doing live streams now. I'm like, dude, you know how many years I've been doing it now? I go
Yeah.
back in time. You can watch me screw up everything live. And now it becomes easier. And like you were asking how I do this with the guest, and I'm like, StreamYard makes it easy. And by the way, this is
It
Cody from
does, yeah.
Mactelecom Networks.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Tom's chat. So, yeah, I mean, StreamYard, I've never used it before. I looked at it when Tom was doing his live streams because my favorite feature of it is when you grab a question and it pops up on the streams. The go live thing with YouTube, I use XSplit, and it sometimes takes 10 to 15 minutes to show the go live button. So, I don't know if I'm actually live and I'm
Yeah.
just sitting there with dead air. At least this shows you in the top left corner that we're live.
Yeah. And
I don't
it's
know if that
instant.
shows the audience, though.
I don't know if they see the live or not.
They
They do,
probably
'cause
they probably
I'm
don't.
looking at
I've
the
never
feed over
noticed
here.
it in any of your other live streams before.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the feed over here, so I think I can drag this over. And this is that cool where you can share the screen. So we'll share the screen. Chrome tab, recursion, but they see the little
Oh, yeah.
live up there, I think.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm
so
wrong.
do you still have to press go live in this?
Nope.
You still
You
Oh, you
only
don't?
do it in
Okay.
there. Yep.
So I have to do it twice. I do it in XSplit, and then I do it in it where it says end stream, that's where I press go live. And sometimes it lags and takes forever, but either way, I probably should check this out. StreamYard looks, very easy to
Yeah.
use.
It makes my life easier. And this little feature right here. So
Yeah.
my buddy's 13-inch Connect camera came in yesterday. Wonder why I won't display cameras on the MVR Pro. Oh yeah, the MVR Pro doesn't run Connect. Have you played with that at
Well,
all?
so Connect that's what you're talking about back there.
Mhm.
You have to be in an well, it doesn't natively run on the UNVRs. You have to run it in a UDM Pro. And you have to be in an early access channel to be able to do that.
Yep. Yeah,
So
this is some of the confusion. Like when the door access, it originally only supported the UNVR Pro. Now it supports the Cloud Key Gen 2, right?
it does. So if you I don't know if you saw my videos or if you saw Ubiquity's videos on the calculator, so it's UI or calculator.ui.com, but that will tell you the resources that you could use. So now you could like it's just UniFi OS across the board for the UniFi
Yeah.
UDM SE, UDM Pro, and then the cloud keys. So now they're allowing you to do that, but you can't integrate as many doors in the door access for the Cloud Key Gen 2s. I don't really use cloud keys at all. I do use a lot of UDM Pros and UDM SEs, which Tom and I differ there, but
Yeah.
um,
I have
it's
them
my
on. So throw your
yeah.
UDM Pro questions because this guy can answer them.
Yeah, I use a lot of UDM. But so the businesses I deal with are like small scale. They don't need advanced stuff. They need internet access. We put some firewall rules in for them, and that's it. If we do go up and we need like high availability, we're using pfSense for the most part. We've done data center builds with pfSense as well. I just got a 6100 in today, which is right behind me. I have two, so we're putting that in HA. But it took I think 6.5 months to get the 6100. And so is that the 6100?
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a couple of
Oh,
them.
yeah. So I got this one here. I have it. I saw your review on the 4100.
It's a
Looks
same
interesting.
chassis.
Yeah.
Same chassis.
I
This
mean,
happens.
people were complaining about the price points, and I could see that, but it is what it is. That's just, I think the future right now, how hardware is going to go, is you're going to see the price increase until the supply chain, slows down a little bit.
Yeah, and to go deeper on the price points, and people didn't like me saying this, but they don't understand the reality of when Intel discontinued some of the chips.
Okay.
Intel actually on the back end, the functional parts that go on there, they normally have so many years. I don't remember how many years it was, and I don't have handy the article, but maybe I'll dig it up and tweet it out again later. Phoronix and a couple other places did an article on it, but it's a hard article to find because not many people know what this means. It's the people who buy the actual functional chips to integrate them into a circuit board in a PCB design. Intel usually tells these vendors you have X amount of years of support. So they take the time to engineer their PCB board. And you may be engineering your PCB board in 2022, but you're still using something that was from 2018 because the price point is better than the newer version they come out with. And they'll tell you, oh, this 2018 device has 7 more years of production. They
Mhm.
canceled all the production early on a lot of these.
Oh, that's
So
not good.
that left them with, oh, we already engineered with this. And Intel's like, well, it's a physically compatible. You just have to do a software firmware slight change. So your new ones will do this at this new chip. And they're like, great. But the new chip costs 4 times as much. So
Well, yeah, there's your price price
there's
difference right there.
yeah.
But
And if
if
you're
you
gonna
wanna use it, I mean, you can get other you could build your own pfSense box.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
like the Netgear. It just works, and then you have your warranties with them, and you have, some level of support. I haven't used their support yet, but I feel like it's probably good.
They're on
Um,
top of it. I haven't used it either, but we know people who have that have bought their enterprise TAC and support and things like that. So,
okay.
they do a good job of it. The Serve the Home did a good article though. So I've always joked around. You can buy whatever you want, run your PF Sense. For the businesses, we're always using, like you said, the net gates and things like that. But one of the differences, and Serve the Home, I was happy they did this in when they reviewed one of those. I don't know what to call them. I don't want to call them generic Chinese box devices, but that's what they are.
Yeah.
They're the Quotoms or all the different
Oh,
brands, but they all the same. They're usually 4 to 6 ports, industrial design, and are really popular. And they were reviewing one that's a 2.5 gig one.
hmm,
And the thing that people don't realize is the reason 2.5 gig works at all on FreeBSD is because Netgate wrote the drivers for it. So the money that goes into Netgate has quite a few people that are essentially on staff that write drivers for FreeBSD, not for only use in pfSense. They upstream
okay.
them to the kernel, and everyone who uses it downstream, TrueNAS,
Yep,
OpenSense, and pfSense all get the benefit of the code they write on there. That's a big they're a big code contributor to the drivers that are written. So there is the other business side of it that because Netgate funds that, if something ever happens to Netgate, it also means something happens to the BSD world because
yep,
there's nobody else writing a driver. Intel
exactly.
releases Linux drivers, but they don't release them for the they don't care about the BSD world. They're like, well, here's some reference spec. Good luck, guys.
Yeah, see you later. Well, and I don't mind so with in Canada, if we buy directly, from Netgate, it is very expensive,
Mm.
just because we're crossing the border and whatnot, so we
Oh yeah.
use, Hui or something like that, and the price is still up there, but it's better than trying to buy it off Amazon and you don't even know what you're gonna get. Um, so yeah, hopefully we start seeing more of these devices come in. I was glad to get this because now we can move along with that project. I actually showed that project in one of my videos. I try to do as many on-site videos as I can. I think lots of people like watching those. I know those are my favorite videos to watch on YouTube. Is people I used to watch somebody called Fiber Ninja.
Everyone did.
He yeah, he posted something in his community thing. He's no longer there. But Fiber Ninja is wicked. Like I love seeing that type of stuff, infrastructure builds.
Yeah.
Um, but we put in a 2100 there because that's all we could get, and they wanted an HA pair. So getting two 6100s was, I mean, it's still probably impossible to get them. We've been waiting for a very long time.
Yeah. The back orders are crazy on all of that. But
Exactly. Yeah.
the any experience getting UniFi talk to work through pfSense? UniFi support is blaming pfSense for a 10-second dead air at the start of
Hmm.
internal calls.
So you haven't used Unified Talk?
I have not.
Okay. So I've deployed it for a few customers in the United States. We don't have it yet in Canada. I do have some Unified Talk videos. That's because I take a SIP number and pretend I'm in California. Anyway, I have set up through pfSense and we don't have that issue. So they have the issue we're having, the person has way too many phones on the cloud key. So they have two 7100s in HA, and I think they have 40 switches and then maybe about 50 access points and then 80 phones all on one cloud key, which is
Oh,
overloading it.
that's
So they're
painful.
having issues with that. Once we downgrade to 40 or whatnot, their phone calls work great. Like I think it's a good voice system, but again, I'm a Ubiquity fanboy if nobody has noticed, right? But
Yeah.
there there is a lot there's different systems out there, Grandstream, Free PBX, things like that that are a lot more advanced. So
Yeah, but
yeah,
you
you
get
might
the
want to
basic
work more with
needs.
Ubiquity on that.
Yeah. Ubiquity support is never wonderful. That's actually the niche me and Cody are in, is the fact that we know it's not wonderful and we support a
Well,
lot
it's
of
so
Ubiquity.
people say, yeah, it's not their support isn't great. Well, that's awesome. Come to us for consulting, right?
Yeah.
That gives us work. I think they are starting to do phone support.
I
I
seen them
forget who.
posting about that, but they're posting
Yeah,
about it and doing it. It's actually funny because as bad as Ubiquiti is at support, Microsoft, last I checked, has 27 billion cash on hand. They're one of the most profitable companies on the planet, and their support is hot garbage, even when
Yeah.
you pay for it. So,
Exactly.
support's hard to do on any level.
Mhm.
And we actually had a client that migrated away from Hyper-V because they had paid for some priority support to Microsoft and still never got back with some of the problems. They had some of the craziest problems, and we ended up migrating them. Is how we got involved in it. But yeah, the support's hard. It's one of the hardest aspects of it because people have a massively wide variety of environments, and unless you're the technician constantly dealing with deploying it in those environments, you don't have a full understanding of it. So this is where Ubiquiti support can be very tough because Ubiquiti is a probably only ever testing in a fully homogenized Ubiquiti environment with everything
Yeah,
Ubiquiti.
I would assume kind of like
Yeah,
how I test, right? Everything Ubiquiti. I mean, I've done videos with pfSense, and we deploy a lot of pfSense, but the I, I know they used to have some sort of paid service. I forget what that was called, but they stopped doing that paid service, and I
yeah.
don't even. I bet you that was garbage as well. It was the Elite program, I think, back in the day.
Hey, Brandon, get you guys up in the. Sure, we could do that. Are you already in the? You're already in the tech knowledge Slack, right?
I'm in the tech knowledge Slack. Yeah, so it's a group of a bunch of low voltage
Yeah,
professionals. If you've seen my designs of like cabling work, that kind of started off of by watching or looking on Instagram from All Green Lights Incorporated. He uses a very minimalist how his racks look. It's just 6-inch patch cables between the switches. It doesn't matter which switches, and that's kind of where I went instead of using these big bulky cable managers between it. I think you're maybe starting to do that too. I saw in some of it, maybe on your
yeah,
live stream, you were taking some videos of it.
yeah.
It just
Absolutely.
works a lot better, but technology, it's great. If you need to know anything about low voltage or even networking MSP, they have a ton of different sections. I think their Slack is invite only.
Yeah,
But
just Brandon,
yeah.
send me an invite. I know you're on my Facebook, and we've engaged before. We're on LinkedIn together. Just message me or something, so I'll join that.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I had we just quoted a job for doing shielded armored cabling. I'd never heard of it, and I've been in cabling a long time, so I reached out to them. They gave me a model number of it, and now we're getting the job. But the cabling is like $3,600 for 1,000 feet. Like
Yep.
it's insane. But this is for an industrial building, and they're going to be paying for it. Like it's very hot in there, and there's a lot of EMI, so that's why we need the shielding.
We've used similar. We have a chemical factory we did, and some of the runs because they use caustic stuff. Some of the runs are outside up the sides of their machinery, and even putting in conduit, we still have we use. It's not that expensive, but something that was made to withstand more. Chemicals and stuff like that. 'Cause theirs was an EMI problem. Theirs was just this stuff's toxic. Don't breathe it.
Oh, exactly. It's gonna be we haven't started the job yet. It looks like if you've probably seen BX wire, like
Yeah.
electrical BX. It's like that type of armored cabling.
Oh,
So
okay.
even running cable like that is gonna take hours and hours and hours just to pull it off the reel. But it should be a fun job.
Yeah. Grayson, thank you for the donation. You participated in the IT Pro TV webinar regarding migration from CentOS to Alma Linux 8, and you did some migration. Awesome. Migrations are always fun. It's always a learning opportunity to go from different versions of Linux. So awesome on that. Hopefully you're keeping up with your studies. Grayson joins my channel a lot for he's been pursuing a lot of different network degrees, network
Oh, awesome.
certifications, and so
Yeah,
keep up the good work.
their network certs are always good. I did get a few, and then I kind of just stopped.
Yeah.
To learn, I mean, they are great. You can't
If
say
you're
not.
not
I
in the
still read
industry,
books.
yeah, and if you're not in the industry, I think they're great because you don't know what you're missing, so to speak, and it's hard to get your foot in the door. So at least having them, you have some working knowledge of things. So I don't discourage
Exactly.
people for getting on there, but like your career path, once you got your foot in the door and you started really doing it, a lot of
Yeah.
places will hire you on your experience more so than but it is
I
hard to get
would
your foot in the door.
I would take somebody on experience rather than certs. Like if I am hiring somebody, I'd want somebody with more experience than, you know,
Yeah.
college degrees and things like that, just because I know that they've been in the field. If reading a book, I had my CCNA, it's changed a lot now. I was doing the CCNP at the time as well. But just reading the book and doing the theory is one thing, and it helps out with, all your troubleshooting. But going on site and physically doing the troubleshooting is a lot more, or helped me a lot more than the books did, for sure.
I do see, I want to go roll back a little bit in the chat.
Sure.
I got people from Cyprus saying hello. I always like to see the different countries people are from. We got Sweden. I don't think I've seen Abu Dhabi before. So that's I just like saying the word.
Abu Dhabi. Yeah, I don't think it is interesting seeing where where people are coming from in your live streams. The majority of mine, I would say, are US based. Like my Canadian base is very, very low. And that's just how it is. There's more people in the United States.
I'm only 48% right now American for my overall viewership. So it's actually I have a big international. We have a lot of international clients. So Honduras here, we got South Florida, Germany, Americans in Springfield, VA.
Yep. I see somebody saying that feedback from my end. Do you still hear feedback? It's my monitors. I don't usually use speaker monitors.
Brett joining in here. Please send the invite to me. I will get it done for Tom. I think he's responding to Brandon Weber. That's very awesome. True. I forward a lot of things to Brett. Brett, this needs to happen. Brett's awesome at doing
See, I need a Brett in my business to forward.
Everyone needs a Brett. I won't lie.
Yeah.
Is it possible to install SSL on UDM Pro hosted controller? I'll have a hotel that wants to use guest Wi-Fi portable, not hosted on my HostiFi.
I'm not too sure. I've never actually done that. I know you can do it on the UDM Pro. So difficult install. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I know you could do it on the UDM Pros, but once the UDM Pro reboots, you have to redo the cert.
Yeah, that's the problem with them. And that's a really basic thing that they literally, for all the effort they're putting in, and we and Cody were just talking about this before we joined live stream, like with the UID system, they've got all these different things they're building, which is cool. Yep. But some basic functionality like, hey, why don't you put a Let's Encrypt cert on an auto renew in your device because it's free. The Acme cert thing is all open source. You could build that in there and solve this problem that you are by far not the first person to ask about. And
we get asked about it all the time.
Yeah. And there's ways
I'm surprised they haven't.
Yeah. It's a really easy feature request that would go a long ways towards people who do want to use the UDM in exactly the fashion that you want to use it here for a guest portal with the SSL. So yeah, I don't have any way to do it either. Same thing. And I know it doesn't always survive reboots. It's one of the reasons I'm always avoiding any of those type of consulting work where people go, hey, make a bunch of modifications to the UniFi Dream Machine or build a custom JSON file for one of the Ubiquiti routing equipment because it just doesn't always go well. And it's not an ideal commercial deployment solution because of the support problem.
Yeah, I don't touch any JSON files ever.
Smart man.
It's not worth my time and the headaches. Like even their layer 3, I did a video on access control list in their layer 3, but once their switch reboots, then the access control lists go away, right? So I think they'll probably integrate that eventually into the UI, but that could be years and years out. We never know.
Mm-hmm. Wow, Norway, Netherlands, Bulgaria, Barcelona, Transylvania. I just
want to go there. I've never just because.
Winnipeg. All right, we got some fellow Canadians in here.
Perfect.
Denmark, Alberta. Wow, we got people from everywhere. Liverpool.
That's nice. Yeah.
You don't have to say near Liverpool because I don't even know what is or isn't near Liverpool.
I have no idea.
I am not particularly familiar with that area.
No.
Another Canadian.
Oh, another Canadian. Awesome.
Morocco, Ireland, Memphis, Georgia. Ooh, there's so many of them here.
A lot of different places. So are you on this stream software, are you able to see how many people are in the chat as well?
152.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh. I don't know why
it only lets me see it. There's no way for me to show that.
Share it. To the crowd. That's okay. I was just curious. I used to hide my account when I first started because I didn't know if anybody was actually in there. So I'd be talking to myself. No one would be commenting. That's the scariest thing about starting to live stream. You don't know if anybody's in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really strange. Here's a question. Is it possible to do a live migration from one host to another on XCPNG? Well, yes, absolutely. It does support full live migrations. Best captive portal service to use. I always use the pfSense one. We usually don't use third-party ones. Most of my time, I'm telling people not to use Captive Portal. And I'll give a great business use case here. We had a company that had a public venue that supports up to, I forget, a lot of people can go there, big public place, public events to go down there. And they were trying to do retargeting and marketing. They were kind of an arcade family fun center, retargeting and remarketing based on having everyone go to their Captive Portal and sign in with their Facebook. So I said, this is a terrible idea. You shouldn't do this. Well, they did it. And their Wi-Fi usage statistics went down to almost nothing. They went from having like, 70, 80, 100 something people on the guest network to next to nothing for people that wanted to use the Captive Portal because no one wanted to be bothered with it. And unless you're in an area that has no cell phone coverage, no 4G, people will see the Wi-Fi, it'll bug them for something, it'll get stuck, and they go, yeah, I'm just
I
gonna
never ever connect to anybody. It's like if I go to a hotel, I'm not connecting. I just don't want to press. It's that one more step that I have to take that I don't want to do. There is somebody called. I haven't looked at his services. I do follow him on Twitter. Art of Wi-Fi. You might know him. I'm not too sure. I think he does a Captive Portal service.
Yeah, there's a couple of people that do them. I haven't used enough to recommend them. The other problem with Captive Portal is the fact that it's not a it's a standard, but it's not a, so you run into like, oh, all my iPhone users can't connect, or all my Samsung with this model can't connect. When we've done support for it, it's always been weird problems like that. So if you can avoid it and find another solution, awesome. If not, the PF Sense one works really well. And we have one client that's got about 4,000 users that hit the Captive Portal, but it's also a campus. So it's something that's done for the facility, and it's how they regulate the internet there. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I know I do some venues, hosting venues who, if they're going to have a wedding or something, they'll want to charge for the Wi-Fi, and that's why they're trying to use the Captive Portal. I'm like, just give them free internet. You're paying $100 a month for it anyway. Who cares?
I know. I don't understand that either. People try to. We have a couple rental venues that people rent, and they're trying to do the same thing. We told them it's a bad idea, but hey, this is how much you charge an hour to get it going for you.
Exactly.
Brandon wants to know how's the Synology surveillance station been working for you guys? I'm moving to protect. We love Synology surveillance station, and so does this guy right below, Travis. He's also a big fan of Synology, but I really like it. I am absolutely just like I did my video on like the advanced motion detection and everything else on there. I did the videos. Let me put. There we go. We'll. I'm going to pull it up real quick, but yeah, you can see how nice it is outside, and I want to go outside right now.
That actually does look, I've watched a couple of your videos. So this does smart detections, or is that based on the camera?
If the camera does, and then you have the cameras interact with it. So I can actually go through and don't save. We'll go to recordings and filter for different event types for things. So like I want to see driveway, and you see how it says like advanced motion event. That's how I know it was a car. So, there's
somebody on the driveway.
Yeah. I mean, the clarity of these cameras, that's one of my daughters. She's pregnant.
So, and which camera are you using here?
This one is the Amcrest. I forgot the model, but if you look at my Synology video, I have them all listed.
You have it listed there. I haven't used Amcrest. I pretty well stuck. I baselined UniFi for the majority of my business for cameras anyway. Just for me, the end user, it's a lot easier to describe to them or show them how to use Protect. It's foolproof. Whereas Synology is getting there, but if you looked at something like Hike Vision, their interface is terrible. I'm getting calls every day about it to try to help them with. I don't even deal with Hike Vision anymore. It's a nightmare to deal with. Yeah.
The mobile app has gotten really good. My wife has no problem using it. My wife is not a technology person.
Well, there you go.
Oh man, watching her struggle with things is part of my joy sometimes.
Yeah. Well, she'd be calling you if anything, right? So you want to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah, but the way it determines all the different motion detection types, the notification, the push notifications on the phone and everything else, the time lapse features are really cool. It can do.
That was cool. I saw that in the video. That's something that I wish Protect had, is the time lapse. Time lapse it looks awesome.
Yeah. So if I say, what's this one? Backyard, front yard, backyard. So we can actually play back something like this. It's a 1-minute video, but this video is going to represent.
Yeah, that's awesome. If I had to do that, I'd have to download the file and then I have to put it into DaVinci and then do my time lapsing for me. Like,
Yep.
that is really interesting.
It's kind of cool to watch when you're seeing things like that. And actually, it's kind of cool. If I leave it, it's going to go through day and night cycles and everything else, which is also kind of cool when it does that.
So, and this is with the new surveillance station, like they had a upgrade. I did a video about it probably a year and a half ago, and I haven't touched it since. I have one camera, a hike vision camera sitting on my soffit. It's not even plugged in right now. I haven't used surveillance station since then.
I want to do a few more shout outs here.
Sure.
Tacoma, Washington, Oxford, Portugal,
Namco?
non,
No, I don't even know how to say it.
Namimo.
Nemo?
Yeah,
Maybe?
I was like Namco, like games.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Texas, South Carolina, Vancouver, South Carolina, another Washington, Isle of Man. I have no idea what it is.
I have no idea where that is either.
I know Isle of Man's a place. I just don't know where that place is. Across the Mitten, yes, another area of Michigan there. MD, not soft raid. Is that an answer to a question or? Okay, we did Captive Portal with AirHive. Always had issues. Yeah, and AirHive is a commercially supported one, and it's the same thing. It's kind of just buggy. That's the way I would describe it.
I just stay away from them. If customers ask, I just say have a guest network, let them connect, throttle them, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna let this run because it's about to snow. We had a crazy. It was 70 one day till and snow the next. So I'm letting the time lapse run till that because it's
I
entertaining.
think we probably have roughly the same weather. I don't know how far
Yeah.
away you are. Probably a few hours, I think.
Yeah, only a few hours away.
Yeah.
So you probably get it within hours of whatever I get.
Exactly.
Most of the clients don't have a URL to redirect to the restaurant's ordering system, so they have to pass the connect and pack to portable and the redirect. Yeah, that's true too. What do you guys think of the comments on UniFi feature, unifying the feature of Edge Max? Do you think there are some new devices coming?
So
I
I
don't.
think there is.
Yeah, it's
What
not
were
abandoned.
they?
It's really popular in the WISP market. They know as long as there's enough sales to justify it, they keep making the product, and it's
So
not
I just
gone.
did 2 videos on it. I forget what they're calling it now though. It's only available in the US. It's all the switches look the same. The heck was it called again? So it's the UISP switch and the USIP router. And then there's another thing in EA right now that we obviously can't talk about, but I don't know if it is a WISP market or WISP market. It is really feature full, but again, I'm not a WISP, so I don't really use it.
Yeah, and the edge switches, I mean, the nice thing about them, they're not bad. They have a
Mhm.
lot of features, but the way USIP works is not at all how the UniFi controller works. It doesn't have all the same features
Completely
in it.
different.
It's not a bad platform, but it's not necessarily what everyone wants to use. So, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Well, the Edge Router X, they came back in stock, I think, 2 weeks ago, and they put about almost 1,000 of them out. So maybe they aren't giving them up yet. I thought they were completely done.
yeah, but it is. It's one of those things like that. You remember the blue WRT 54G? That thing was.
Yeah.
They just kept selling it because people kept buying it. I
People buying it.
remember
Yeah, exactly.
I remember them talking with a product guy. I remember what the interview was on. I think it was like This Week in Enterprise Tech, and I asked them why they made that product for so long. They said because the demand wouldn't go away. Like
Exactly.
we didn't want to sell it, but the people were angry that we weren't, so we just kept selling the product. Like,
Oh, and that's, I mean, I think you do play some video games, but there's a game called Skyrim, and they'll just keep selling it because they just won't stop buying it. So they're not they are making a new game now, but it's been like a decade and they're still selling this game, like thousands of copies of it. But yeah, it's a little interesting. The UISP stuff, I think it's interesting. I'll probably do some more videos on it, but I'm not a WISP either, so I might be filming some WISP stuff though, so that would be interesting to do.
yeah, this question comes up a lot, and I thought I'm going to be doing some new videos soon about this, but this is one of my easy answers for say, hey, you want to build a new TrueNAS? Do I use a spare NAS case or buy an enclosure recommended for 4 or 5 drives? There's a lot of different options on here. But depending on your budget, one of the places that's easy if you decide you want a larger NAS is just go on eBay, type in free NAS, and that second one here is Unix Surplus. Actually, I think I got to. There we go. Let's open a new tab. They have all these deals with with servers that are set up to run and be compatible with that. Now, if you just have a bunch of random spare parts, awesome. You can just build free NAS on true NAS on most anything, but it depends on how just big you want to go with it. I mean, the enclosures are nice and things like that, but you start adding it up and going, that's kind of a lot. Some of these you can get deals with a bunch of used enterprise hard drives in there. And the trick to buying used enterprise hard drives is like, well, don't they have some mileage on them? Sure. Look which models are in there. You can probably find extra of that hard drive on eBay for really cheap. So you can have some spares. And it's actually a really cheap and inexpensive way to build a TrueNAS system, provided you don't just have all the parts laying around. That's obviously the cheapest way to do it. So
That's what I was thinking about, buying a server and then building or doing some TrueNAS. I use Synology, and really that's all I need. I think I have the 1921 XS Plus. It works great for me. I'm sure TrueNAS works just as well, if not better.
yeah. Do you ever use Blue Iris?
There was a guy, Cajoling Tech. I haven't seen a video from him in a while, but I watched him doing Blue Iris. They were trying to get me to move to it. I'm not. No.
I wouldn't do it commercially. I've seen people, because there's some integrations for object recognition and everything else, like some Python libraries you can extend it with. I think they're all in Python. I've seen some cool projects done with it where it recognizes who walked in the room and has different actions for it. Like this, I remember this guy's got a really extensive video I watched. I'm like, it's really cool. But it's so intricate to do. It's not something I would want to support for business. So I think it's novel. I think it's a neat product, but it also requires you to run it on Windows, which is part of the no-go for me. And honestly, like the way Synology works, you set up Synology surveillance station, it's almost set it and forget it. I don't even worry when there's an update. No problem. I can just tell it to update. It's really easy. I can see it in a dashboard. I can help manage it for the client. Synology just is like a better way to do it. But I think for a hobbyist, I don't have any problem with people, especially the tinkerer who goes, but I want something that has a million bells and whistles. Awesome. Blue Iris will go pretty extensive.
If you have time to put into it, why not? I don't think I'll ever get into it. I don't have the time to play with that.
Yeah. Do you guys use Synology Active Backup? I do. I see there's an option of screenshot verification on backups now. Yeah, post that in the forums. There's a bunch of new features rolling out. I'm gonna have to cover some of the new things they do. I have full disclosure. I engaged directly with the Synology tech team because I gave them. We did some, like, what could we do to make Synology better type of debrief. So I got with their tech team and had some private meetings with them because I said, these are the features you're missing. I said, I even told a couple of them, I said, you could sell so many more boxes, for example, and I pushed them hard on this. If you gave me a central way to manage the backups in a very concise way, I said, I could sell more Synology. The tools they have now don't allow you great central management for the backups. They do from an individual. They don't support multi-tenancy. And because we are multi-tenant, as in we manage many different companies' IT, we have to log in every box individually. And that's not a reasonable way to do it. So we've talked to them about all kinds of things like this. So that screenshot, there's a bunch of new features. I was not able to attend, but two of my staff just attended a Synology, whatever you want to call it. Look at our new stuff tech demo day.
Yeah, sales meeting.
The sales meeting.
Exactly.
I usually join those, but I didn't have time. I had a schedule conflict. But so I know there's a bunch of new features. I got to go hang out with the guys at my office and have a debrief on. And they just did that this week. So I will find out all the details. I know there's a bunch of new stuff with backup. There's a new stuff with the way Surveillance Station can attach multiple Synologies to one view. So you can actually have more than one Synology running your surveillance station, and there's a way to tie all the views together. And by the way, I'm testing right now Synology Surveillance Station 9. Everything I just showed a few minutes ago is version 9. So,
and is version 9 that's beta version?
That's still in beta.
Still in beta. Okay.
It is rock solid. I have had zero issues with it. That's one of the things I like about it. They call it beta. I'm calling it, well, this is easy. We actually debated, like, do we put this in production because it's so nice? It doesn't seem any problems. It also, when we do these 30 cameras at a time setups, Synology, I'm going to tell you, it's pain. It's tedious setting up 30 cameras in this technology because you have to individually set them up. The new version 9, can group set up cameras. You can go, here's all the cameras, and you can go grab and log them all in and set them all up and do all the configuration for you. They enhanced a lot of that in a new Synology. So I'm excited when it comes out. I'll do the video on it. But then again, it's the pain compared to UniFi, who's got it dead simple. You plug UniFi camera in, adopt.
Exactly.
UniFi for making that easy.
It's just, for me, it's way easier. I'm a one-man show, so going and deploying cameras, like I do a lot. I would do pre-config at home as well, before deploying it. So if we had a surveillance station and we're doing that type of job, but it uses up a lot of your time when you have to do each camera manually.
Oh, this is a popular question. You have a Wi-Fi printer on VLAN 2, MDNS enabled, but no matter what I cannot reach from any other VLAN. Some of the printers don't respect MDNS, and that's just, it's not a problem with the switching equipment. It's a problem with the printer drivers. They expect the things and devices to be on the same subnet. If they're not, they may not work. Welcome to printer hell.
Well, and the next question will be Sonos. Well, can you cast Sonos to different VLAN? Sonos is the biggest headache in the world.
Yes.
If you want to cast to it, put your cell phone or whatever on the same network, and there you go. And that's it.
Yeah. Oh, what opinions do you have about OpenDNS, Captive Portal, OpenWT versus Captive Portal? Yeah, we weren't quite done ranting it when this question was asked. We don't like it.
No, exactly. I think we both could agree on that.
What widget do you have on your desktop, like for performance monitoring? Nothing. So I don't have any particular performance monitoring widgets on my desktop. I have a fast desktop, but I don't think about the performance of it because it's not slow, so it's not.
Didn't you just upgrade your GPU?
Yes, I did do that. I always forget which one I have. I did put a faster GPU, so Resolve.
DaVinci? Yeah, I see mine. It chugs along sometimes. I have like an i7 2070, something like that. So I may have to build a new desktop shortly.
Yep. Ooh, Ottawa, Canada.
6 hours away from me. Done a bunch of work there.
Let's see, the Atlanta, the thumb. So people in Michigan's shaped like a hand.
The thumb. Awesome.
I know what the thumb is.
That's awesome.
If you're overseas, if you're in Europe, that's confusing. Like, what do you mean? What do you to hold your hand? Oh, we live here. I'm in this part. Canada. Travis is also waiting for Surveillance Station 9 to hit production. It is a lot to type. SSS9. I know what it means because it is a lot to type.
I've never actually seen that abbreviation before.
Do you have any use cases for TrueNAS storage for cameras? Not really. And well, I can't say no. So yes and no. We've done commercial camera systems, like very big enterprise stuff, that had some TrueNAS servers on the back end with 0.5 petabyte of storage. So there's Exact Vision is one of them we work with, like the school districts, and we're talking like a lot, like 400 or 500 cameras. So the recording, and it's broken up to a series of servers, but then they have all these archive, and you have to keep data retention for so long. So they'll buy something like a storage server to send it all to, because Exact Vision is not something that runs on like a box that's proprietary. It's a licensed software you buy that can run inside of Windows, and then it picks where do you want all your storage targets to be, and then you attach TrueNAS as a storage target to it. I mean, these are like $100-something thousand setups. So just for all the hardware that runs it, besides all the cameras and everything else. So yes, we have, but not for home users. If that's that's usually what people are asking. What's the cool software I can just run on my TrueNAS? There's not. I think that's called Shinobi. There's a couple projects out there like Zone. I think it's ZoneMinder and Shinobi are two of them, but none of them are great. Last time I looked at them, they were both very hobbyist projects for running cameras in the open source world. I wish there was a solution for it. I would even put some money in backing one, but I don't know of one that exists that works that well. So at least my experience. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong and someone has one. I'm just not found it. So
I don't think they're going to spend that type of money for a home lab though.
Yeah.
$100,000 for TrueNAS surveillance station.
Yeah. Here in Cyprus, most companies install MikroTik. I hate the way it works if you're not configured by SSH. Yeah, it's a learning curve. MikroTik's not a terrible product or anything. It's a confusing project. And there's a learning curve with it. It's just like when you learn Cisco and you do it all from the command line. It's funny because I got those Cisco Catalyst 1000s where I use the web UI. The web UI is so broken and
Oh, it
bad.
was
You
terrible.
have to
I
go.
watched it. I was gonna buy a couple, and I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm not
You
grabbing
just
these.
have to go down to the command line with it. Like Cisco is
Exactly.
not good at web interfaces. And yeah, there's a learning curve. If you're used to using it, of course, once you've used UniFi and you're like, wait, I can just pull down and select a port in a VLAN. Yeah, I don't have to tag and untag and trunk and allow. No. So, but for people that do that, the purists, some of my older friends, oh my gosh, are they mad at UniFi? They don't
Oh
think
yeah.
networking should have been made that easy. They were, my old Cisco friend. He's a diehard, no matter what, Cisco guy. He does
Yep.
a lot of the enterprise Cisco, of course, and he's like, it shouldn't be that easy to do that.
It's the way it's going, and I mean, when I first started in enterprise banking, it was all command line. I was doing all Cisco
Yeah.
stuff, but it's just way easier, and people could learn it a lot better. If we're running short on network engineers, I mean, this is the way to push them.
Yep. Containerization solutions, not really. We don't do a lot of DevOps container stuff like in terms of videos. So it's not like Jay from Learn Linux TV he has some videos on Docker. Jeff Geerling has videos on Docker. So there's other YouTubers. Techno Tim's got videos on a lot of different things like Podman and everything else. So there are people covering it. It's just not my niche. It's not what I do every day. And for them, it is actually a lot of what they do every day. That's why they're covering it. That's actually a lot of my channel and Cody's as well, is we're covering things we do all the time, because it becomes hard. And me and Jay from Learn Like CV, we've talked about this before. The hardest videos to make are when you listen to the audience too much because you think they want something, but it's not what you do. So now you have to spend a lot of time learning something that you don't normally do, and it makes the video way harder to make compared to our other content. So I stick with things my channel is a reflection of things I actually do. We consult on XCPNG. So yes, I got lots of virtualization videos. Boy, we do a lot of TrueNAS work. We're a partner with IX Systems, so we do a lot of that. We're a partner with 45 Drives. So there's a reason you see me talking about those servers. And it comes natural to me to answer a question. We're a Synology partner and reseller for Synology. So, and we're deploying them all over the place. So once again, that's why I do videos on it. So yeah, I don't do much for the containerization. Do you do anything DevOps?
No,
Yeah.
I not at all. I watch Techno Tim all the time, and
Yeah.
that's enough for me. He does really interesting videos, but I'm not getting into that. Like you said, it takes way longer to create those type of videos, and the audience coming back. I mean, it's going to be 1/10 of the views I get.
Yeah. Are you using full UniFi stack for any clients? Do you mix and match? Now, I've mentioned before that I mix and match, but Cody does run a lot more of them that he deploys with the Dream Machine, like a full UniFi
Yeah.
stack.
Yeah, so it depends on my clients. A lot of my clients are just small business, so we'll do UDM Pro. We don't do the SE right now because the SE isn't here. UXG maybe down the road. I think it's overpriced for what it is. But yeah, we do a full UniFi stacks, or we do PFSense with UniFi switches and UniFi APs.
Yep. Brad, thank you for the $6.99 Canadian donation there. I was enjoying watching Tom and Cody's videos. Very informative and fun. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for the donation. Back to the Sonos stuff. Yes.
Yeah,
Sonos.
I bought a Sonos One to do troubleshooting on to try to get it through VLANs, and there was a way, but it was like having to open so many ports. I'm like, it's not worth it.
Yep. Do you do pen testing on your own network? I do, but for professional reasons, I still have my more professional and friends I will pay to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had, yeah, paying because you never see your own typos or your own
Mhm.
thing you overlooked. I actually, well, I have enough staff that they bounce around on things, and my staff will play games and say, "Can you get to this? Can you laterally move? I'm going to give you access to this network and laterally move." So we do this as a mental exercise for my staff to keep me on my toes. I always tell them, find things I did wrong, guys. Nothing's more fun than proving the boss wrong. So
Just put it on YouTube, you'll find out really quick.
yeah, found if you're wrong then.
Yeah.
So Google or OpenDNS? Quad 9. You didn't have the right answer in there. So what's my preferred DNS server?
Yep.
Quad 9. If you want to learn more about Quad 9, search my channel. And I've done 2 really good interviews with the people from Quad 9, including, and I need to do a follow-up on it to see how their lawsuit's going. It's really crazy that they're being sued for doing DNS. It's a wild story.
I haven't read
And
that. Did that just come out?
it was a few months ago, and
Oh,
screw you,
okay.
Sony. That's my
Oh, okay.
answer to that. So, let's see. London, Ontario.
That's not too far away. That's 2.5 hours. I
Yeah.
did buy myself a Timmy's coffee. Do you guys have Timmy's down there?
Oh yeah, we love Timmy.
Okay. You used to, Timmy's was never in the United States, and then it started going into New York, and then
Yep.
it's a U.S. company now, I believe.
Yeah, they. I was.
Burger King bought them.
Yeah, I like them. They there's a couple of them down the street, and unfortunately, with the labor shortages we have, none of them are open. Anything they're only open for a few hours in the morning, and that's it. They are
Oh
not.
wow.
It's that there's no, which sucks because they're ice cream places too. So I don't know if they're going to change that this summer, but a lot of them merged when they have an ice cream store in the front, and then the back is a Tim Hortons, and I like it. I can go get coffee
What's
and
the ice cream place? Cold Stone.
yeah, Cold Stone.
Cold. Yeah. So they had that here. I don't even know where we'd find one now in Canada, but Timmy's here. If it's always open, and there's one on every corner. People
Yeah,
love their Tim Hortons coffee, like more than Starbucks.
it's the best. It's way better than Starbucks coffee.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
A lot cheaper too.
That too. It's cheaper and better.
Exactly.
Alexi Cola, morning from the land down unders. From Australia.
Awesome. I'd like to go there, just not deal with any of the spiders. That's pretty much what I don't want to walk into.
The place where things might kill you.
Exactly.
Recommendations for network monitoring software. I guess you would need to define that probably a little bit better. But you can. I've been a big fan of Zabbix to monitor endpoints, but it does so with and this can get tricky monitoring networks with SNMP. With Zabbix is more agent based. I guess it depends what kind of network monitoring you're trying to do. There's just pinging and uptime. There's with UniFi, you can monitor with the UniFi controller. So that's
UniFi makes it really easy. The one thing they did take out and then they re-added back in was device disconnects for their APs.
Yeah.
And that was huge as I have a bunch of old age homes that I look after, and we need to know if their AP goes out. So we had to install some other monitoring software. I'm glad they put that back in though, because it works flawlessly when it was in.
Yeah. Tom, do you use NVIDIA or AMD Radeon for your GPU? I have an NVIDIA. I have never had problems with Pop! OS. It works great with NVIDIA. So NVIDIA and Pop! OS are friends because Pop! OS has a special version just for NVIDIA. You can, it has all the extra drivers right from the go in it, so you don't have to do anything but install it. Top talkers, high bandwidth. How do you hunt them down on pfSense? NTOP NG is the easiest way. The simple way too is you could use DarkStat is also a plugin. Also, NTOP PNG just did a video on it. I've never done a video on DarkStat. It's not worth doing a video, but it's also a add-on for pfSense. It's one of the application add-ons. The word's eluding me right now. Where you go and you add more features to the pfSense plugins essentially. So let's see. DSM 7.1 was popped. Oh yeah. You can manually update to 7.1, but it's not, I don't think it's officially, well, it's out. They just do slow releases on it. One of my machines said I got 7.1. My other ones don't. So I'm waiting.
Well, I remember when the initial DSM 7 came out, my 1621 XS Plus, that didn't have it for like 2.5 months or something like that. And my 418 did. I'm glad it does because DSM 7 is way better.
Someone says, where are you based out of? And it is.
I am based by Toronto. I'm 40 minutes outside of Toronto. We do a lot of work. Like I'll do work within 8 hours of me, depending on the size of the job.
Timmy Hose for a few decades. You see my morning drive to work. Cause I mean, I remember the first Timmy Hose that opened, and I used to have a short drive to my enterprise job I did, and they opened a Timmy Hose in there. I only had 3 miles to drive each day, but I was so thrilled every morning to grab that when it opened up. I'm like, so much better than
if you don't get there super early though, the lineups are where I live anyway. It's insane. It will take you 30 minutes to get a coffee.
It says, Cody, do you do the installs or manage the networks after you install? A little bit of both, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so it's we do a lot of break fix. I haven't got into the MSP space, and I don't know if I'm going to. But if it's a full UniFi stack, yeah, we will. We'll do monitoring for it, and we'll manage the networks for them. We have quite a few companies around the world that we, they just buy or block of hours from us, and we'll do whatever they need.
Yeah. And Travis says Domots is one of the other one I was trying to think of.
Yes, I have used that. Yep.
Yeah, I haven't used it, but I know a lot of people have it and they like it. So
yeah, it's paid service. It works good. I mean, yeah, nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm. Someone, I like it. See, if you just keep saying and umming, I do this in podcasts because you'll hear a podcast say something like, "Oh, I'm sure they'll be trying to think of a word, but you're not interacting with them." The best thing about live stream, you're interacting with people, so people know it's called
Exactly.
extensions, and
Yeah.
more specifically, it's called package.
That's
Inside
right.
of
Yes, yes, yes.
PF There's so many people. Does PF
I
says
know. Yeah,
package?
I'm looking at. That's cool. Actually, it's pretty good. I could see on my right hand side that it highlights the questions that you're clicking on too. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, cool. And someone did mention this, so let me do this. We're gonna throw this on here. Yes, there are 200, 195. Someone left, but and only the internet funny number of 69 likes.
69, exactly.
As much as I'm happy that it's an internet funny number, go ahead and click some more of those. We need more internet numbers.
You need to
There we
try to
go.
get it as close to the concurrent viewers as possible.
Yeah. So that's always a goal. Click on there because my life is dictated by the YouTube algorithm. So
Exactly. It is for sure.
so we got to have at least a few more likes on there. That way it knows people this is good content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've
Exactly.
seen people sitting there, smash the like button. You smashed it already. I actually got to update this too. This is a project. This is e-ink.
I saw that before when you first. Did you do a full video of it, or did you just showed it on live stream, right?
Yeah, I just showed it on a live stream, and it's really cool because it's not plugged in right now. It's just a
Yeah.
Raspberry Pi on the back of this, and
I actually bought one after you showed it, and I haven't touched it yet. It's sitting in my drawer back here. I probably
yeah,
should. It is cool. It looks cool.
I need to get. I don't know where to put it. I thought about putting it behind me somewhere and leave it plugged in the wall, and it just auto updates. So
You could probably put it like on those panels that you have. Are those foam panels or are they
yeah,
hard foam panels? Oh, okay.
yeah, they don't. Which ones are in view? These ones are in view.
Okay.
There's no squish to them. There's no give.
Oh, so you should be able to do it in there. I was thinking about, well, I want to move this office downstairs because it gets extremely hot upstairs, but our basement's unfinished, but I would like to build a studio. I really like those panels that you have there.
Yeah,
They're
I
great.
have them all
Yeah.
linked in my kit.co for my Amazon. I have all the
Awesome.
parts, all the different ones I used. Because even if I did that quick tour video, but if you have questions, let me know. I'm always willing to share pictures of it. But
Yeah.
when I'm looking at this way, and which helps stop a lot of the echo, is I have those, but then there's a Auto Mute is the name of the company that makes a big blanket that absorbs echoes and it hangs from there. When you come down to my studio, there's a silence in here. Your ears ring because it's
Oh,
so
that'd be
quiet in
awesome.
here.
Yeah,
It's
this
kind of cool.
room's
My kids and
you
my
need
wife
it.
come down here and they think it's novel.
Well, and you need it when you're doing videos. Like this office is so small that I did have, I don't know if you see my videos a long time ago, but I had on my door over here just cheap foam pads from Amazon. It looked terrible and it did nothing for the sound because I had it facing the wrong way.
Yeah. What is this person asking? I was recently unable to find cheap APs with AC and GE for home use. Ones without AC and GE are cheaper. Went to a Chinese brand and filtering of funny traffic with a micro tick behind it. Yeah, probably. I mean, if you can't get the what do you call it? The UniFi TP Link, they're kind
Yeah,
of they copied UniFi
they're
pretty
all
well.
right. They just came out with an update maybe 2 months ago that added quite a bit more. I think they were missing MDNS and a few other things. I haven't done another video on TP Link, but they're cost effective and it
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
My worry about them is their long-term support plan. I don't know where it's at.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me that they are not on top of support. I just don't use enough of them to tell you yes or no. Like, do they end of life things? Someone had commented like with the Log4j, they were slower to fix it. I didn't do it because there's a new version here now. But one of the other problems when you go to their website, it's just confusing. It doesn't have a ton of
It's terrible.
documentation. So
Yeah.
it's really hard to figure out, like, I know they have it fixed now? Did they have it fixed immediately?
I think
UniFi
it
was on
took
top
them
of it.
about a month and a half to fix.
Yeah.
Which, that's not good. At least there's other companies who jumped on it that week or that day. Whereas, TP Link, you want to make sure that those patches are out immediately. But I
Yeah, if
think they
you're
have a very small team behind them.
it's kind of they're not dedicated to it. TP Link is a company because they make so many different things. They're like a lot of the Chinese brands that or Chinese companies that do things like that. They just kind of look at what's in the market. Can we copy it? Can we make it a little bit cheaper? What's the, can we make money on it? And they're good at that. but that doesn't always lead to the best product. It may just lead to a less expensive product out there. So,
Yeah. Well,
and
but you did a video on their Wi-Fi 6
yeah,
APs?
yep.
They're huge. Like, those things, I couldn't mount those in a business. They are so ugly.
I'm-
They're
they
massive.
are ridiculously big.
Yeah. I
So,
gave mine away. I didn't even want them here anymore just because, they were taking up so much room.
uh, TP-Link easy to buy, perfectly good for non-managed networks. For media converters, their hardware has been rock solid, but firmware is totally outdated, never updated. Yeah, that's the same thing because we even had what was that one attack on Wi-Fi? I can't remember what it was called.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Crack attack. That
Yep.
people found a way to inject certain packets to start renegotiating handshakes, and it would let you collect enough handshakes to potentially get in. That took some patching. UniFi was on top of that patching. So was a lot of other companies. Was TP-Link? I don't know. I wasn't using them because that was a few years ago, but that's a big concern for people.
Oh, exactly. Like, even their latest update was out 2 months ago. They need to be, well, maybe they don't need to be pushing out that many updates. UniFi pushes out way too many, and then they're broken.
Yeah. I would have been surprised if they had Log4j configured it in the way that exposed the issue. Actually, I'm not surprised at all that they did because the way it was configured in UniFi was if you had your UniFi controller public facing, there were exploits. They weren't released immediately, but the proof of concepts did exist that showed how to exploit it. And because they copied very much so UniFi, if whatever reasons UniFi had for doing it and using the Log4j to pull the logs and use that as part of the logging facility function inside of the UniFi controller, undoubtedly they just did the same thing. I wouldn't. So
Oh, yeah,
the
most
fact that
likely,
they
yeah.
patched it now, are they even big enough that they made the CVE list or anything like that? I don't know. And it became that is kind of it. That's where things can get confusing when you talk about stacking all these products together. So this is an interesting question because I don't know the answer for you. Are you guys going to any events this year? I will first answer that I will
Mhm.
be at Penguin Con this Saturday, speaking on Friday and Saturday. I am going to be at Black Hat Vegas, and I'm going to be in Channel SMB Chicago on May 4th and 5th. So I have at least a couple places where you'll find me, but those aren't necessarily I mean, those are kind of a variety of events. I don't know, but I'll probably be doing a few more. My goal this year is to travel a little bit. How about you?
I don't even know what events I would go for. VoIP MS reached out to me yesterday about some local event in Vaughan. So Vaughan's about 40 minutes away from me.
Hmm.
I haven't answered back yet. I don't even know what the event is. I may go. I've never done in-person things before, and they want to do like a sort of interview type thing. So I might go to that. But outside of Canada, I don't even know what we would have in Canada, to be honest. And traveling right now, we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see if I start traveling.
Yeah, that's its own challenges right now. So that's
Yeah.
especially because for you, the events being the U.S., you got border crossing issues to deal with. So
Yeah, and well, in Sunwing, like if you're ever trying to go on a Sunwing plane, you could see right now they're currently down and people are waiting in the airports for a week.
yep, yeah, and it really screws things up when you're trying to plan to go somewhere and all of a sudden,
Exactly.
it's down. So
It would be interesting to go some events, but I'd need to look up which cool ones would be go to, or to maybe go to Vegas or something like that if they have something there.
yeah. Open Source Summit North America. I don't know where that is. Feel free to tag me in on Twitter though, because I might because I don't know if they're gonna hold this year, but like I did Ohio Linux Fest because it's only about a couple hours away from me. So I've done that. I've done that before in the past a couple times too. So yeah, hit me up. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out which ones I'm gonna go to and which ones are going to occur. So that's even the challenge for some of the
Hmm.
have a 30-inch curve MSI game monitor, cost me 600, hard to ship to Cali, get fixed, shipping was 550. Sorry to hear that. Thank you for the donation, Ed. But yeah, with the curve monitors, because I happen to have a 49-inch one next to me and I like them. But one thing I've always done, I've got the boxes because I bought them for my staff and me, and we've got the boxes in my basement because they're clunky, but I don't know how
Yeah,
to ship
yeah.
them without the box. So I didn't throw the box away because shipping's expensive, but also packaging is hard on those. So
I've been thinking about getting a curved monitor. I use 3 monitors in front of me right now, and it takes up so much room.
yeah. Notice your Synology NASA Snappy. Do you run SSDs or 7200? I have 7200 RPM drives. but I think I have 8 gigs of RAM in it. So it's an RS1221. I reviewed that model and it's still the same. There's nothing about it different now, including the drives or anything, than when I did the review. Because I did the review and then I used it for a bunch of lab stuff, and then I took it and stuck it in my house to run my cameras. So it's the same unit. It's the AMD based one too, which is kind of cool. It's kind of noisy. It's a nice rack mount, but it's a little noisy. Oh yeah. Suppliers remove the underlying class, but the Log4j package in place. Yeah, there was all kinds of, as I will quote my friend Jason said this morning, monkey fixing going on. And there was basically a lot of poor fixing. Actually, we'll go a step further. I tweeted a meme out. Let me find it because it's funny. Man, there's too many tabs open over here. But no, I tweeted a meme out because I was laughing about this. Let me pull it up real quick. Because of all people who shouldn't be monkey fixing things, these people were. Little company you might have heard of called Amazon.
Oh, wow.
And their AWS, they fixed Log4j with an automated hotfix. And someone realized that they didn't validate if the process was actually Log4j or something calling itself Log4j. And when it runs, someone found a way to escape the hotfix automation tool to get a higher level of privilege in AWS. So they actually were able to create a file that looked like Log4j, create an application running that looked for it. The hotfix would come around going, oh, I need to fix you. And then it would take over the process. Great security research. Brilliant. But also, really, you guys weren't validating? And this is recent. This is yesterday. This was discovered that the system did this. And what AWS is doing, is building automation. That way, if I set up something insecure today, they have a hot fixer that runs around monkey patching. And someone found, well, I can exploit the hot fixer. So
multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's been fixed. It's been security research, not actively exploited, but still really interesting. Best option for managing wired clients on a Dream machine: limit wired client to X% of the internet bandwidth. Not really an issue that comes up.
No, there is a way to limit. I forget if it's the egress or ingress, but you can't do both. Like you can't do it like on your Wi-Fi where you say 10 megs, that's it per client. The wired doesn't work that way.
Nope. It doesn't have an option for that. You can do it with the Wi-Fi. You can't do it with the client, but it's also something that never really comes up. I can't say never. It comes up in comments on YouTube all the time, and it comes up in my forums, but I've not seen it come up in a business environment where it's what the concern is at all. And if you have a more advanced firewall, it'll do limiting per IP and things like that with the firewall level. So not many people ask about it.
No, I don't think I've ever set it up in production once. I did a video about the wired rate limiting, but it really was just the one way that you could do.
Yeah. People saying how much they love those curved monitors. They are great.
Yeah, that's probably the next thing I buy from the Amazon affiliate links I get from the States. I just get the gift cards, so I'll probably end up getting a curved monitor. I don't know what else to buy with it.
I love it. Once you go with the curved one, you're like,
oh, you need to. Yeah, because right now, I know this drives the internet crazy. I have 3 different monitors, 3 different sizes. So people go nuts about that. Probably I'll take a picture of it and then people go crazy.
Yep. Who's annoyed by this? Basically, any interest in software defined networks. Well, technically, they're all. I think it's been blind. It's blurred is the word I'm looking for. The market has been blurred a lot because pretty much all of it's software defined now. It's not just UniFi even renamed theirs. It's called the UniFi SDN, software defined networking controller. But most of this is software defined anymore with the networks. There's not like this not that it ever wasn't some software running inside of there, but there were people who called them hardware firewalls. And then they say what I would do is a software firewall. Because I was even using, before it was pfSense, it was Monowall. Before Monowall, I didn't use Monowall much. I used another one called IPCOP and another software called Endian. So people said, oh, you're weird, you're using these software defined firewalls. So I'm like, well, there's software running on your Cisco device. And so it's still software defined in some way. It's felt like more of a marketing term. So yes, we're very interested because that's pretty much everything's software defined now.
Exactly. I think Cisco's will end up going that way eventually. I know they've tried, and it's just well, you've with your Cisco videos, it's just
Yeah.
terrible,
Yeah, their management plane for it is difficult,
brutal.
and if you've ever touched any of the Cisco firepower stuff,
Yeah,
that's
I was when I first started my YouTube channel, they reached out to me. I had to become channel partner and all that, and I just decided not to. It was just too much of a headache to try to even get a firewall. And really, if I wanted to try it, I'd just buy it.
oh, hey Alexi, is my friend's daughter. So I
Awesome.
see she's got her profile picture with some cute dogs, my cousin's dogs, to
Hmm.
be more
Do you
specific.
have any animals?
I do not. I
Okay.
love animals, and that's why I
Yep.
don't have them. I am a person who I'm bouncing around too much, and I wouldn't have. If you have an animal, you have to give it the level of attention it needs. So
Yep.
I am an animal lover who realizes that in my present state, I am not able to give it the time it would deserve. Therefore, I don't have them. But I visit people
Exactly.
based on the fact that they have pets. Matter of fact, if
Yeah.
my wife wants to go to a friend's house, I'm like, do they have a dog? If I don't know the people, like, they have a dog, because I don't really want to go meet a new person, but I'll meet a new dog or a new cat. I'm perfectly
Yeah,
fine with that.
new animals are a lot easier to talk to and deal with than
Oh
humans.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I dogs, like, for me, I want a dog, but my schedule, I can't do it.
Yeah,
Dogs need a lot of attention.
dogs need a lot of attention. I would have a cat, but current wife does not like cats. My ex-wife liked cats,
Yeah.
and but current wife is not a. She just doesn't like cats in the house. I
Well,
don't know.
once you get one, you just bring it home, it will grow on her. Cats are,
Yeah,
same with my wife, it was the exact same thing. Now we have 2 Siamese cats, I wanna buy another one, not gonna happen, but, uh, cats are just so low maintenance and they're weird. And yeah,
hmm.
they're awesome. Yep.
Best local DNS combination with UDM Pro. Local DNS. I mean, if you're going to use local DNS, you'd probably use the UDM. If not, use Quad 9. Quad 9's got points of presence all over Europe. So let's see. Oh, here's the question that always pops up. New
Hot
hot
sauce.
sauce recommendations. I don't have
I
anything
can't do
new.
that.
No, it's not
No.
you.
No, I mean, Frank's hot sauce, too hot for me. I'm terrible with spice. I like spicy food, but, yeah, I'm not going with really
But
hot
yeah,
sauce.
it's funny because it's not for everyone. It's
No.
my when I was pulling up the cameras, my daughter's was in the camera there. She oh man, she thinks pepper's too spicy. Like she doesn't like pepper on things. So it's
I
really
love
weird here.
pepper.
Yeah, this is here I am like eating all the different really oh
Really hot sauce, yeah.
current wife plans to change. Nah, I'm too old for that. I have wife 1.0 and then now I'm on wife 2.0. And
There
by
you
the way,
go.
my wife does call me husband 2.0. So
There you go. It's a good relationship.
it's a good relationship. I'm fine. I don't. Nah, she's all right. The first one, not so much. So,
Nope, no. That's funny.
uh, let's
Have you
see.
seen the new, I just released a video on it, but they released a release channel UniFi controller, so that you may be well, I know you don't use their routers, but now they have teleport, which is backed in by WireGuard.
Yeah,
They don't have full WireGuard support yet, though, but, I don't know if you follow Marcus, one of their security
yeah. I
engineers?
retweeted. He said it's going to
Oh,
be in
okay.
a future release, which I thought
Yeah.
was cool. Um, but and we'll pull that tweet up real quick. So here's the thing. Um, do. Make sure. All right, where does that tweet go? Because this is the part. Where did he say that? There we go. No, I can share that screen. I think I got to zoom it in. There we go. We will support WireGuard in the future. That's the
Yeah.
exciting part right there.
Standalone, yeah. Yep, standalone. I haven't used the teleport yet because, I think the teleport, you have to be at an EA version, which I was for the video, but, we can't talk about that stuff. I'm not even too sure how teleport will work, but I know a lot of people want the standalone WireGuard in Ubiquity.
Yeah. It Here's the thing that drives me nuts about Ubiquity to some extent is we know the product supports it because there's third-party things you can find on GitHub that modify the functionality and give you the things you're looking for.
Yep.
If some third-party hobbyist can write it, why can't the people making the product? That's the part I always like.
Yeah.
especially when it's just there. It's got the processor support. You've already built it into the kernel, which of course is some foreshadowing that they're going to eventually have full support for it. But here we are, and we're
I
talking about
think they're getting a lot better.
yeah,
That's my opinion. With just the release notes that I saw today, it looks like they're getting a lot better. But then again, it's been taking years for them to do thing like they have site-to-site VPN. It's AutoSec, IPsec,
yeah,
whatever they call it, and that was really easy to get your USGs in a site-to-site. You just click both sites. With the UXG, they don't support that, which for me was a big selling feature for a UXG. But since it's running on UniFi OS, it's the same thing as UDM Pros. So they haven't implemented that yet, which I think they need to get done.
yeah. Like why wouldn't you do that? And of course, WireGuard is wonderful for site to site. So why
Mhm.
not build on it? Like it's great. I got to do an updated video. I always refer people to Christian McDonald's video. He's one of the developers at
Yep.
NextGate. But we're using actively with a few people Unify site to site. I mean, sorry, PF Sense site to site with WireGuard. It's just a great protocol the way it handles things, and it's quiet, it's fast. I did my demo on the 4100, showing you how fast WireGuard works on it.
Yep.
So
I haven't tried WireGuard yet, and I don't know why I haven't. I did see your video though with the speeds for the 4100. It looks promising for
yeah,
sure.
it's so substantial. It's like here's your little 200, 210 with OpenVPN. Here's
Yeah.
your 800 with WireGuard on a
Yeah, and
dual
that's
core Atom processor, essentially.
exactly.
Brandon Weber says, looks like QNAP dropped the ball again. Another critical Apache bug. Yeah. Now the question is, will they have a patch for it, or are they just saying, can you turn this off till we maybe in a few weeks get around to it?
Probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just never liked QNAP. I've never went with QNAP. I've never touched any QNAP devices.
Yeah. Do you use any local free PBX? We don't do that much free PBX. When we do it, it's an on-prem server. Chris from Crosslock Solution, he does a lot of hosted 3 PBX. So he's got all the answers on that. He's the free PBX expert. As far as I'm concerned, it's free PBX is so much to learn. We started down the path, a little bit of learning it more. I dropped it. I said, I don't got time for this. I don't have enough staff for it. And it's the cart before the horse. The demand seems to be there for people wanting it. To train someone on it and is a big learning curve, and then you have to have enough clients to justify why you train someone on it. And yeah, Chris is good at it. He's got a whole team of people, and Chris has worked specifically in the voice industry for a number of years, even before he started Crosstalk Solutions. So yeah, Chris from Crosstalk Solutions is your free PBX person to ask questions at.
Yeah.
People loving WireGuard on PF Sense. Yeah, I need to do some new
Awesome.
videos on it. Because one of the things someone asked me about, because I don't open ports for my Synology,
Mhm.
but what I do is I have WireGuard on my phone. And that's one of the things WireGuard does just an amazing job is pull it up on your phone and
So that's
slide
how
the
you're
little tab.
remotely viewing your cameras. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
It works so nice because you can
Yeah.
just turn it on. Now, it's because I'm a little bit more paranoid than usual. I like everything locked down as much as possible, but
Mhm.
I do expose the UniFi for the customers that they'll use the UniFi's automated system. I forget what it's called. The Connect system that's built into UniFi. We'll set that up for
Okay.
clients and it works well. I think it's adequate, but it's also we like if someone says, "Hey, I'd like to run my file server and I'd like to get a Synology," and then they later go, "Hey, I'd also like to have a camera system." We won't put it on the same server. We're like
No,
separation.
to separate it, yeah. Oh,
Yep.
you're thinking about their, remote access?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, their cloud access
The
platform.
cloud
Well,
access
that's the
thing that
only way
they do.
you can view the cameras remotely. You have to have that on. You can't VPN in to view your cameras, it doesn't work.
You
If you're
can.
using the Protect app. If you were
No,
going
no,
through
I'm
your
talking
phone.
about the Synology one.
Oh, Synology. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I know Synology, you can do that, but
yeah.
yeah, remote yeah. And
But
that's
no, with
that's
UniFi,
awesome.
you're right. UniFi, you have to use their Cloud Connect.
Yeah, if you wanna use the Protect app, you have to use it, unfortunately.
Yep. Yeah, they make that annoying.
Yeah, yeah. I know that's been requested for a long time to be taken out of.
They announced a mitigation but no patch. That sounds about right. That's
Yep.
I'm
Couple
referring to
more
QNAP.
weeks.
A couple more weeks. They'll eventually get around to it. I actually I seen Wendell from Level One Techs. He did a video on swapping QNAP to TrueNAS, and I haven't watched it yet, but I know that it can be done. Someone else commented you can load Unraid on it, and I thought that was cool too. So
Hmm.
you have options. Like they don't make bad hardware; they just are so lackluster in their support for their software. So
Mhm. I know Willie does a bunch of stuff with their switches. I think he has a
yeah,
bunch of switch videos.
they reached out to me, and I thought about buying one of their switches. They reached out to me and wanted me to see if I was interested in switches. I said, I don't like your I was thinking in my head, I didn't say this in the email. I'm like, I don't care much for your QNAP devices, but I'll review a switch. And I said, yeah, I'd like to review it. No
Nothing.
response. And
I
then
think they reached out to me too, and it was the same thing. This was a long time ago though.
what was funny is a different person from QNAP reached out to me and started the same conversation, and I replied the same way, and they didn't reply either.
Oh,
So
that's weird.
yeah, I
I
was like,
wonder why they wouldn't want to. You think with all their security issues, they would probably want to get some reviews out there, videos out there with saying
yeah.
some good things. I'm sure you would have mentioned the security issues though.
Yeah. This is before I did the video where I just dumped on them, where I said QNAP's bad path of security. And
Yeah.
I don't usually do rant videos like that, but one, I feel it's a public service announcement. Two, I did it to answer the volume of people asking, "Hey Tom, what do you think about QNAP?" Here's my thoughts on QNAP wrapped
It's
up in an
easier
8-minute
doing a
rant.
video
It's
instead
easier
of
doing a video.
texting, like going into the comments, and it's just YouTube. You've said it before. YouTube comments are the worst to try to sort through.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, Any good solutions to back up Synology to another Synology? Yes, you can back up Synology to Synology. You can back up to Synology to S3. Their hyper backup system has actually gotten better and better over the years to do everything. And they finally, I don't remember when they added this, it's been there for a little bit, but one of the aggravations with Synology was when you did hyper backup, you couldn't back up surveillance station settings separately from the videos. So you
Hmm.
had a problem when you made a bunch of changes. You're like, oh, I got to back this up. Oh, there was some trickery you had to do. Now it's just a checkbox for backup everything about because I actually have my Synology on a regular backup for all the different things that are configured on it. But you can check a box that says don't back up the videos because they're too big. So they
Hmm.
go off site through an S3 connection that actually lands on a TrueNAS server. And because it's all the entirety of that Synology, if that Synology completely explodes, I can restore it to another Synology. I can restore it. I just type in hyper backup. I connect it to the S3. I pull the data back. And then even the cameras, everything will be configured. So if I just replace the
Oh, that's
Synology,
perfect.
everything will be completely set back up. But we do this for our clients too, for the same reason, because if I go to a site and I deploy 40, 50 cameras, that's 40, 50 cameras to set up. And if the Synology dies, I need to be able to restore the Synology. I can replace it, but if it literally destroys in some catastrophic fire or whatever, I still don't want to have to reset up all those cameras if I can replace it. So
Oh,
Synology
exactly.
makes it a lot easier to do now.
Yep. I use hyper backup. Yeah, just backing up my stuff here, my YouTube videos and stuff, and it works great.
Hyper backup and their C2 service. Yes, their C2 service is nice too. Um, have you reviewed the new AdTran switches? Not AdTran.
I don't
Ad-
even know what AdTran is. I don't think I've ever heard of them.
AdTran. I imagine they make some. I've not known them as a switch company. They made
Okay, they look
yeah.
all right.
There's some switches.
Hmm.
They make some enterprise equipment. Most of the time, I've seen them as their access devices for man, Adtran used to make all the T1 termination stuff. I mean, they've been around forever.
Oh
Uh,
yes, yeah. Now that you say that, I know AdTran. Not by the switches though. Yeah,
yeah. So, yeah.
AdTran is more of a okay. Yeah, in the U.S. Makes sense. Makes sense. Do you
Mhm.
have any upcoming videos on on-site jobs
Ooh, yeah. That's soon. I have a
soon?
couple huge projects we're working on that are going to get delivered soon. Oh, by the way, it's 4:19. I am going to wind this down here in about
Yeah,
10
yeah,
more
yep. No
minutes.
problem. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
But the I have this has been a fun project, but it's also been the drywall guys disappeared project. So when the
Oh,
drywall people disappeared, the entire project got a monkey wrench thrown in
yep.
it. So
Exactly.
and it's about 300 something drops, so it's a good sized
That's a
job.
good side. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's
And
huge.
we're down to the punching down part, but everything has been so changed and things like that. I love doing the on-site project jobs. Let me see if I have any photos of this one. I think I may
It
have at
just
least one
takes
picture.
forever to film. Like yesterday, I was going to release the video today of a small on-site job, just cable cleanup and putting in a UDM Pro and a switch. but it takes forever to get video footage of it, and people want to see every little detail, and they want you to make it 2 hours long, and that's just not possible, especially when the customers are on timelines.
Yeah, I don't have any photos from that job. I have them in a message that was sent to me, but I don't have any in
Oh, okay.
any other way I could share.
300 cables. I mean, that's a decent sized job. That takes a while to do.
Yeah. Yeah, we do a lot of projects we do are pretty big. I just don't well, matter of fact, boy, one of them was weird. We had to so my client owns the buildings. They're
Okay.
huge. And at this project we were doing, actually, you know what? I do have to we're going to be back at we're going to be maybe where's that? Here we go. Share this tab instead. Someone's got to go climb up that tomorrow.
That doesn't look fun. I
That
would never
thing
do that. I'm
that thing
not a
is
heights person.
really, really tall,
Looks
and
really tall and a little rusty.
it's a lot rusty, and
Get
it's
your
not
tetanus
particularly
shot for
safe.
sure.
Yeah, it's not particularly safe.
So what's going on there? You're just installing some cable up it?
Yep, I have a zoomed in photo so you can see here. I'll let you can probably identify, let me bring it back up. There's the zoomed in photo. We got to replace that.
Oh, wow.
That thing is up
That's
there.
gonna
This
be
is
fun to
my
get to.
max zoom to be able to see how far up that is. That's been there for several years. We put that in like 2017 probably, and they need a new one right there. So because
Yeah.
that one died, so we got to climb that long. The tower's big, so
That's when you get the new guy to go up with his harness on and remove it. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be
now
doing that.
this needs special training, or you get nailed by OSHA. I will very carefully state a couple things here. The way OSHA works, you could film yourself. You could take a picture of yourself. You could also find yourself in said picture doing something that OSHA could find a problem with and get a fine for it, even if it's years later. So
Oh, wow.
you sometimes have to be very careful on what you film. But oh, don't worry, I have completely OSHA certified people with proper safety harnesses all attached to this going up in here. There we go. There's
I
my
don't know if
disclaimer.
we have OSHA in Canada. I know we have, some legal forms, but we have
Yeah.
our ladder certifications and stuff like that, working at heights, things of that nature. Which,
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't be climbing that tower. That's not for me.
Yeah. I gotta finish this. This project's finished. I just need to do it. This is all for camera feeds. These are XLR feeds that
Yeah, I
we put
remember
in.
seeing something about that. Is that a baseball field or something like that?
Soccer, but yes.
Soccer field. Yeah, that's really cool.
So that one's finished. I got to assemble the video on that one to make it something coherent.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, so
Yeah,
will you be just doing video and then, like, overlays of your voice onto it?
I'm gonna do all VO
Oh,
on it because I
yeah, but
didn't.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't film a lot of the other
It's
part.
hard, like, and that's what I'm doing. I'm doing, voiceovers on this next video because there was only a couple people in the office, and I didn't want them hearing me talk to myself in the room and think I'm weird that way, but, the on-site jobs, they're great to see, and that's why I miss seeing Fiber Ninja. I wish
Yeah.
more people would do infrastructure build-out videos, but
Well,
for us, it takes forever.
yeah, and one of the things I'm gonna scroll down a little bit here and show you. I just gotta scroll down, then I'll share it. Make sure I'm not sharing it. All right, I'll bring it up again. So we were at this warehouse, and this turned into. I was always cool with people, but they made me delete something off my phone that I took a picture of,
Oh,
which
wow.
kind of aggravated me. But I'm the goal. Look, with the amount of money we're being paid, the last thing I want is to cause a headache to someone.
Exactly.
And so I deleted it. But where'd that photo go? The ones I can show you that didn't get deleted, this is the scale and scope of the warehouse we're in. I mean, these things are they're
Yeah,
so
it's
this
huge.
someone asked me if it's an Amazon warehouse, and I can't say whose warehouse this is, but it is the same company that built the Amazon warehouse next door. So it's the same square footage as the Amazon distribution centers. My client owns all these.
Oh,
But
wow.
so what we have to do is that we were setting up all the new stuff in this warehouse. We had to go through one of the occupied, but my client owns, so we had permission to be in each warehouse. But I took a picture of us running the cable across the occupied warehouse to get from point A to point B. Dude, two people, security guard, come up to me for taking a photo, and we're like, "This is a restricted area. You have to
That
do
you
this
didn't
on
know
your phone."
about.
Yeah, and I'm like, I take a picture of the guys up there. I pointed it up. They said, yeah, there's still things you might have taken a picture. Can we see your phone? Completely compliant with them. And
Oh
I
yeah,
did
yeah.
I deleted the stuff off. I said, don't worry, it didn't back up to the cloud. I said, I'm cool with you guys. I said, I'm just here documenting our job. And
Mhm.
they were cool with it. Because I was so cooperative, they didn't give me no crap. But it's one of those things where some of these facilities we do work in, they're cool, but they're really hard to film in at all. We can film this
Oh,
one because
exactly.
there's nothing in this one yet. So this one we have permission, but because we had to traverse the occupied building to get to the next building, because these are like fiber lines and long runs between buildings. So
So
yeah,
is this just for like access points or is it full structured cabling?
full structure cabling. We're putting
Oh, okay.
everything in.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, we build them out. So when the clients move in, they have everything built out. So we've got, do I have a picture of it? No, I don't. Oh, maybe somewhere. I could show the picture of this room. We're able to go to the counter room. This is where everything starts for each one of the locations. It's funny because of how big the warehouses are, but this is the feed that starts each one of them. And then there's
Yep.
another distribution for each one after it tears off of this.
Okay. Yeah, that's your main that's not your main rack there, or is it?
This is because this
That's
is
an
all where
okay.
the fiber and everything comes in to this little room, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
we
yeah.
divide it between the companies that subdivide up the thing. Then they get their feeds and build their offices inside there, and then they build
Okay.
another rack where their servers are, because this is just a feed to get internet to each place. But
Oh,
we're the
okay,
ones
so
who
it's
put
your
this
point of
up,
presence for your internet. I see
right?
66 block there, which scares me.
Oh, I know
That's
those.
old school stuff that I never wanna work on again.
Yep. So yeah,
Yep.
there's all the 66 block stuff, and then we put the special equipment we needed here where their fiber runs come in, and yeah,
Yeah.
and
No,
then
it's
there
fun.
you.
I mean, it's fun seeing these type of projects. It's even more fun. I build all mine out myself. I do have some other people help me with it, but you run into some issues where you just want to stop pulling cable eventually. But something like that, when it's wide open and it's a brand new install, I mean, there's nothing better than doing a job like that.
Yeah, it's hard though, because I see people, saying they miss Fiber Ninja, and I get it completely, but um, it's really um, when the clients we have, it's just a restricted thing.
Oh,
We're
exactly.
we
Yep.
have several automotive industry related clients, and boy, they don't want our cell phones out. Some of them even collect cell phones and put them in a box. They're like,
Yep.
nope. When I used to do work for one of the steel manufacturers, that was one of their rules. They had a checkbox. You went in security and you handed them your cell phone, and they put it in a lockbox and handed you a tag. You get it when you walked back out.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Well,
no
and
games being played
you
with
want to
them.
make sure that your customer, like if you are filming, you got to ask your customers. There are people who don't. I see people on my Instagram all the time taking pictures inside data centers. And I
Ah,
know for a fact you're not allowed taking pictures inside data centers. So they may eventually get in trouble. But
mhm.
it is hard getting, your customers to approve it because they don't want their infrastructure shown or
Yep.
their devices that they're using. So
Yeah,
at
I
the end
have,
of the day, yeah.
and well, last things I'll leave with before we wander
Yep.
off, because I debate if I should do a video on this. Hey, let me know if I should do a video on this, people, in the comments here. Um, Linus Tech Tips got robbed of $90,000 in a scam. The way
Okay.
that scam worked was not what people think. People, when they seen it, they assumed Linus had clicked a link. He got fished or whatever, but it wasn't. So he had a contractor he hired to do his landscaping work. His landscaping work, if you've seen some of his videos, he's building a new house, and his landscaping work is $90,000. So
Oh,
that
wow.
it gives you an idea of the kind of house Linus is
Yeah,
building and
exactly.
how much YouTubers of his scale get paid. But back on topic, what had happened was the contractor, the landscaper, did a quote for him. Then he's got the quote. He's going through the build process of his house. They contact him and said, "We got a deal for you. If you prepay the $90,000, we will give you a 10% discount." Some type of discount was offered. So he goes, "Well, I have $90,000 and I'd like
Sure.
to have $9,000 extra. So a 10% discount sounds like a great deal. Where do I send the money?" And it's Canadian. He's, in Canada, Canadian
Yep.
company. He wired the money to a Canadian bank. All seemed good until he found out the contractor had their email and invoicing system compromised.
Oh,
So
wow.
because they had been in their system, he thought he was doing with the contractor because the emails were coming from the proper domain. They were not spoofed. They had their email compromised. And it's funny because I thought about doing a video about this because, one, I deal with cybersecurity. Two, this happens all the time and nobody knows about it.
Yep.
And then three, my first ticket this morning, construction company gets compromised,
Oh,
sends
wow.
my client an invoice. My client has process and procedures in place that when they get an invoice, especially if it's any confusion, phone calls are met. The
Mhm.
construction company got compromised and was sending fake invoices, small ones at that, only a few $100s. That's actually another red flag. These threat actors weren't quite as good that took over this other company, because the invoice themselves were suspicious, because the
They're
B2B
so
work these
small.
people do, yeah, they're too small. No one
Yeah.
has sent us a $500 invoice. We do like 10,000 is a small job for us, and it goes
Yeah.
up from there, because these are commercial construction companies. But nonetheless, this happens all the time. They get compromised, and we've had more than one that paid. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I want to raise awareness of it, because it's not in the news, because it will never make the news. They're not Linus. They're not going to talk about it. They're not
True.
saying it happened. The businesses are embarrassed about it, so the local papers don't write about it. There's nowhere to find this information. We deal with it because we're interactively dealing with clients. And when these spoofing things happen, we've had to deal with the police and FBI on this, to determine who's at fault or who got in what. Now, 0 times it's been our client that's been compromised, but there's been problems. Someone impersonated someone. It's a big, really
Oh
complicated
yeah.
job.
I
So
think I think it would be great to see there's not a lot of people doing videos on it either. So I
yeah,
think that there are people like Kit Boga, but those are more call scams that I watch them all the time. But for like serious videos, you never see them on YouTube anyways.
yeah. That's what I thought. It's like, it's kind of off topic a little bit for my channel, but on topic, because it's a deep cybersecurity topic.
Yeah.
Fake invoices, large institution. They convicted that guy who scammed like Google and Facebook. He was
Yeah, I remember
sending
seeing
them
that.
fake invoices. Um,
Mhm.
yeah,
He made a lot of money from that. Now he's probably in jail for quite a while, but
yeah. So, okay, I think there's enough people saying I should probably do it. I'll put a couple of them together, because man, one of them, it, it was pretty crazy. Some of the extensiveness of it, and if I can bring in one of my friends, I have privileged information. I think the limitations have expired on some of it. I wonder if they could share a story so wild I can't believe it happened. Like, it's
that
a
would be
Darknet
really
Diaries
cool.
episode, and I want to
Yeah.
reach out to him, because it would be a great Darknet Diaries episode. The rough edges of the details, so I can't reveal everything that happened. But what I am allowed to talk about is, um, threat actors bought a group, well, fraudsters. We're not even calling threat actors. These are shared fraudsters. They bought a company's domain that went out of business and kept it going.
Oh wow.
They hired new people.
Mm.
They didn't have these people doing any work, but they had them all paying and working remotely. And they were all part of a money mule scheme with a whole series of transactions. Like, they went through that. That's why they bought the old company that went bankrupt, but it's a small company. No one knew they went bankrupt. So everything looked on the up and up, because even their business registration was still valid.
Yeah.
So
It's just the schemes or scams that go on the internet are mind-boggling. I forgot which Darknet Diaries episode it was. It was a couple ago, but just hearing some of the stories from Jack was, you never would think it would be that complex how to do it. I think
yeah,
it was something about doing SIM swapping. Maybe it was
yeah,
they were
that one
talking
there,
about.
the
Yeah, it
dirty
was it
comms,
was
dirty
insane.
comms episode. It's
Yep.
crazy, because they were talking about the runners who run in and grab and steal
The iPads or
the iPads so they can swap SIMs. I mean,
I
that's
don't know
just,
who could do that. I wouldn't be able to do that. Like that's I
yeah,
think that would make for a great video though. I think it would go with your channel well.
yeah. It's a really interesting topic, and if I can bring on this one cybersecurity guy that broke down the story of what they did, how hard it was for the FBI, because the FBI had trouble figuring out who was involved and who wasn't, because they all looked
Mhm.
like employees and they were all part of the money scheme, but a lot of them were unknowing of it. So it was such a mess. And there's so many stories like that that happen that don't make the news. The other ones that are in attack are the title agencies. So the
Okay.
process of buying a house is, I don't know how convoluted it is in Canada, but it's very convoluted here. So what they do is they target people buying the house and target the title agencies that are doing the transactions, because there's always one more thing you have to do when you're buying a house and one more form to fill out. And they
Yeah,
would inject
same way.
themselves into the process and get people to send money the wrong places. So
Yeah, ours is pretty convoluted in Canada. It's not the easiest thing to do here either.
yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be a real let's see. Some of the stuff that Linus ended up with shows the normal how to spot a scam was avoided by those that who scammed him. Yeah. It's weird destination, like all this stuff. That's the problem when you're dealing with a contractor and they are the ones that got scammed. The problem is if you already have a trust relationship with them, you've already started a negotiation. They've already came out to Linus's house and gave a quote. Later, reaching back out to him from that same vendor with the same email address, going, "I'll give you a discount." Absolutely in line with things.
Yeah, I mean, any
Yeah,
normal day person would think that's a fake scam, right? They would think
yeah.
it's a real deal. I could see people easily falling for that. People follow or fall for things a lot easier than that. So I think it would make for a great episode
Yeah, I'll
or a
try to
great
raise some
video.
awareness on there, and I'll talk about the processes my clients use to vet these things because they some of them who've especially the ones we have a couple that got hit. They have absolutely they have a different process they handle things now, and it's all just because they make phone calls and it's really rudimentary, it's really basic, but that's why it works. They make phone
Oh
calls
yeah.
and things like that. But I'll bring that up. So I think it's probably worth doing that video just to help raise some more awareness. It
Mhm.
happens more often than ransomware, I think. But it's never talked about because it disrupts the company financially, but it does not disrupt them to the point where they're not doing service delivery. So
True.
if they're making widgets, they usually keep making widgets. They just have a big loss to report because they got scammed out of money.
Exactly.
And you're not going to notice that if they're not publicly traded, they don't even have to report it's just they're not reporting their income.
Yeah,
So you have no
exactly.
idea. The guy that owns the place didn't buy a fancy new car this year, or he sold a fancy car to
Yeah,
cover the
to pay
loss,
it.
wherever
Yeah.
it may be.
Exactly.
So, all right. Thank
Okay.
you, everyone. Go subscribe to Cody from Mactelecom Network's channel. So we need some more
Perfect.
subscribers. He's got to get that 100K. Where are you at right now?
Yeah, I think we're at almost 39,000. The 100K is the goal to get that little plaque, and
Yeah.
I mean after that, whatever it is, it is what it is after that. But
No.
yeah,
I have a cousin who's got over the million. I want that one too.
well, the thing is, I'm like, all right. When I first started, I'm like, okay, come on, 500 be great. Then I'm like 1,000. I even though people say you don't look at the numbers, we all look at the numbers. But the million would be great. That plaque would be awesome. But right now, my goal is 100,000 eventually.
Yeah.
With UniFi releasing more and more products that will drive in people to my channel, and hopefully, I throw in a couple other vendors in there once in a while.
Yeah, throw them in. Well, and part of the thing, and I'll say this very publicly because this is something that not everyone understands about YouTube. You kind of curate your own audience. So if you only curate the UniFi audience, which is probably a big crossover with my audience, you've only got that content. I have
Yeah,
a PF Sense audience that watches me that skips the UniFi videos. So
yeah,
until you
true.
start doing those, then your next 10,000 subscribers are UniFi people, or I'm sorry, PF Sense people. And what they're doing is skipping your UniFi videos, but doing that. So now you have this bigger base of subscribers. They
True.
alternate, and I'm learning how these people work because I get the same commenters on the PF Sense videos, but they're not always the commenters on the UniFi videos, and they're not the commenters on the TrueNAS videos. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just sticking to a few different. I
yeah,
don't want to be so widespread
no,
that pick every little different thing. Like I'm not getting into home automation. That's not for me. Like
yeah.
really unify, sticking to network gear, maybe GrandStream, different vendors. PF Sense will help grow the channel, but we'll just see where it goes from here in the
That's
next year.
and it's the most honest answer. This is me being honest too. We don't really know what we're doing. We just say things confidently a lot.
That's exactly it. Yeah, and if we do something wrong, we wait until YouTube comments come in.
Yeah. Oh, you're never as wrong as when you're wrong on the internet and wrong on YouTube. So,
Exactly.
yeah. But nonetheless, instead of me babbling on anymore, thanks everyone. Like I
Yep.
said, go subscribe to Cody's and see you next week.
Perfect. Thank you.